Drop back.
Yeah, he come in behind me in turn one, and then all of a sudden there's just a whole lot of smoke and he's gone.
Hey, mate, all the best. Thanks for putting on a fantastic show this weekend, and we'll see you at the next round. Cheers.
It was good fun. Thanks very much. Thanks for coming, everybody.
So, as you can see, the TRS cars are out on track as we get ready for the 66th running of the Grand Prix. And how fitting is this? Here is Kenny Smith leading the field round in one of his older cars, the number 11, the famous car that he's driven many a time and has done in many historics too. I've seen him drive it. The 1976 Grand Prix winner, and now in his 76 winning car. And he said in his interview that that was his best, his finest moment, if you will, of all his 3 Grand Prix victories. And what a wonderful moment for 79 Kenny Smith. And as you can see, you've seen the hats over the weekend, and he's even got his helmet ready for this absolutely historical moment. The 50th Grand Prix for Kenny Smith. Yes, I mean that. He has driven 50 Grand Prix, FIA Grand Prix, since he started out as a teenager. And now at 79, he continues to race. It is quite a stunning story, and one that will go down in the annals of motorsport history. What a wonderful moment for this man who is so revered, so loved, and so respected by his opponents, who include the likes of Sir Sterling Moss, who recently passed away, the great Jim Clark. He's driven against them all. Chris Amon, talked highly of him. Chris Amon, one of the most respected drivers in the world. Keke Rosberg, he raced against him. He's even raced against the more modern likes of Van Gisbergen and many others, and he'll get to do that again. So as the crowd's now coming on to the track to get a grid walk with them, and while they do, and while we assemble this wonderful field, Clint Brown spoke to the Hampton Downs team owner, or owner of the circuit itself, Tony Quinn.
And joining us from the Gold Coast is the mastermind behind the Hampton Downs International Motorsport Park, of course, is Tony Quinn. How are you, Tony?
I'm very good. It's a lovely day here. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter what the weather is here. I would much rather be there.
Well, I know you'd be disappointed to have missed out, but I can tell you your team with JC and all the crew at Hampton Downs have done a superb job. The opening day of the 66 New Zealand Grand Prix weekend, the Race of Champions. So you must be very proud about getting the race here to Hampton Downs, first of all.
Oh, look, it's been a long road to get it there. And now that we've got it there, we're not so keen to let it go. So we'll do our utmost to make it. Well, look, we've always wanted to revive the Grand Prix, the New Zealand Grand Prix. We've always thought for the past, decade perhaps, it's sort of waned in notoriety. We want to bring it back to an international standard and an event that New Zealand, it's on the map in New Zealand.
And of course, with the Castrol Toyota Racing Series, you had an international map. When COVID came along and everyone went into lockdown, suddenly that changed. The idea about the Race of Champions, how did you come up with that? Was that your idea? Was that a collaboration between Toyota, Gazoo Racing New Zealand, Motorsport New Zealand, Hampton Downs, to get the guys like the Giz, Greg Murphy, all to come back and celebrate the living legend of Kenny Smith?
Typical of New Zealanders, they come up with a solution. They're not happy to be defeated and go home and give up. They all got together, thought, how can we make this work? Is it possible? I mean, there was a few other names being thrown about, Scott McLaughlin, Earl Bamber, but, a lot of those guys had to go not there or they're away. But the guys that have stepped up and made the Race of Champions, the 66th New Zealand Grand Prix, what it is, all credit to them, all kudos to them. What a great job they've all done. They're all champions in their own right, and for them all to get together. I just wish I was there. I just think I know them all. They're good friends of mine, and I just think they're doing a great job.
It certainly has been a great job. I've got to say, Josie and the team from Hampton Downs last night at the welcome, I thought it was a lovely touch where you've given Kenny Smith the Kenny Smith membership, which is basically lifetime membership to Hampton Downs here in Highlands Motorsport Park in the South Island, to celebrate his achievement with the 50th start in the Grand Prix this weekend.
Look, I've really only known Kenny well for the last 5 years, to be fair. I knew he was a little guy walking about the pits and driving a big, fast car in years gone by, but I've really come to know him in the last 5 years, and I just think he's an absolute great mate. He's a great example of a human being, and what can be done in your elder years is just phenomenal. And, I've said 1,000 times, the New Zealand government should employ him to go around the old folks' home and show old people what can be done. I think he's a legend.
Certainly is. At 79 and 50 Grand Prix, still out there doing it. What about Shane Van Gisbergen? I know you've got him involved with the academy here, the likes of Daniel Gawn helping out as well. He won the opening race today. Mate, what a special talent and a special driver he is.
I think we've all been blessed to have known Shane since he's come to the fore. I compare him to Jim Richards in his heyday. Jim could jump in anything and win the race. And I think Shane's of the same caliber, perhaps maybe a bit better, I don't know. But both come from the Auckland region, and there's something in the water around that bloody region, the South Auckland. They must do something to the sewerage or something, but it creates some hell of a good race car drivers.
So what's your pick for the 66th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix here at Hampton Downs International Motorsport Park? Perhaps the new home of the Grand Prix for many years to come, a new era.
Well, there's no secret I've got $100 on Greg Murphy, but I'm not sure how that's going to go. Look, each and every one of them, and even one of the new young kids could come through. But, I've driven with a lot of the guys that are there. They're all great guys. I don't really care who wins it. Whoever wins it will obviously have done a great job. But I'll put $10 on Daniel Gaunt. There you go.
Okay, not game over just yet for Daniel Gawn, a two-time winner, which is great. And just one other question before we let you go. I think we had a lot of fantastic support from all the other races and the classes in Motorsport New Zealand to come along. Will you use the long 4K international track for more meetings, or just save it for, say, the Grand Prix meeting, because all the other classes love driving around that part of the circuit?
Well, you've always got to keep something, some excitement up your sleeve, and really, that's a discussion between Motorsport New Zealand, Toyota, the team at Hampton Downs, Josie. I think we have a very special membership at Hampton Downs and Highlands, and we have to be respectful of them as well. But look, I think for special events, absolutely, the international track is the one to use.
Well, Tony Quinn, thanks very much. Congratulations. A great start to the Grand Prix weekend, and we certainly hope for many more here at Hampton Downs.
You guys, last word, I wish I was there. I really do. I'll see you soon.
Okay, mate. Cheers.
Right, you'll notice that the slot number 10 is actually sitting empty here. We've just heard from M2 that unfortunately the lights went red before Shane got the opportunity to get his car out. So unfortunately for Shane Van Gisbergen, he's starting the New Zealand Grand Prix from pit lane.
No. That's the reaction. First of all, the rain. It didn't work out in qualifying for the man who's won 2 races so far this weekend in the opening round of the Castrol Toyota Racing Series. That was an unexpected twist. Andrew Davis, General Manager of Marketing for Toyota New Zealand. We didn't expect that, did we?
No, we didn't. That's a surprise for us all, isn't it? But, hey, it was going to be an exciting race with Shane on 10, and now it's going to be even better from the rear of the field. But, yeah, hey, we know he can pass, so he's got 28 laps.
Yeah, well, he is an exceptional driver, and he showed that so far. What about these scenes here? The fans have turned out in their thousands. It's absolutely packed. We've got the car parks full. This is tremendous, isn't it? It's a great celebration for New Zealand motorsport in the time of COVID-19 and the restrictions. Did you ever think it would turn out like this?
Oh, I mean, we were hugely relieved to get this far, Clint. There's so many passionate people that have got this whole field to the grid, you know, whether that be from the Toyota Gazoo racing side, getting the cars prepared, to Hampton Downs, to kind of everybody involved. Castrol, our sponsors, there's been lots of people that have been involved, and it's just great to see so many passionate supporters come out to see it live and on Spark.
Yes, so if you've done it this year, hopefully we can do it again next year.
Well, we hope so. I mean, it's great to have so many Kiwi drivers in the field, obviously. Great way to celebrate Kenny's 50th. So we'll see how we go. And, yeah, let's just keep coming back bigger and brighter. Great to see some young fellas, so they'll no doubt want to come back too, Clint.
Good on you, Drew. You always do a great job with Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand and Toyota New Zealand. Talking about young Kiwis, Mike's down the other end of the field with a certain superstar on the way up thanks to the Castrol Toyota Racing Series.
Liam Lawson, you know, this time last year you were sitting in the seat. So what I want to do is give the punters an understanding of what's going through your mind before the start of the New Zealand Grand Prix as a driver.
It's pretty nerve-wracking. Obviously right now they're going up and doing their photos, so they're socialising and they're probably feeling okay at the moment, but it's when you get back in the car and that's that last 5 minutes when you're getting belted in, everything goes quiet, and that's when the nerves start to kick in. For me, to be honest, right now I think I'm more nervous than the driver is. Matthew's done a great job all weekend. I'm really excited for this race. I have good confidence he's going to do a good job.
We did think you'd be just about as nervous as the driver. This weekend, mate, you've been a fantastic team. Truly, good luck for the Grand Prix.
Thank you. Honestly, I've had a great time doing this. It's really good for me to do this and sort of understand what it's like to be on the side of the fence for what my engineers do for me normally. So I've learned a lot and I've had a good time. Good
on you, mate. Thank you. Clint?
Yes, great to see Liam Lawson going from driver to engineer and helping out perhaps Matt Payne take out a Grand Prix like he's done. Now joining us, we have the President of Motorsport New Zealand, Wayne Christie. Mate, how cool is this? How good is this? Top races, the race of champions, big crowd, excellent, isn't it?
Oh, this is absolutely awesome, Clint. It's 3-4 months ago, we didn't really think that we could get this happening the way it's happened today, and huge thanks to Toyota and their efforts in trying to put things together. Our own office at Motorsport New Zealand, working with Toyota, working with our government to try and get people into isolation. Speedworks that have managed to put the event together, and just the crowd that's come out. It's the best crowd I've ever seen here.
I think it reminds me back of the Hampton 101 about 2016 when they turned out for the international showdown of the Australian GT, thanks to Tony Quinn. And the support's been great today. Great for a certain gentleman called Kenny Smith. Great for Shane Van Gisbergen, starting from pit lane, can you believe that? And of course Greg Murphy and all the other supercars drivers and the superstars here, the champions that have turned up, young and old, past, present and future.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've got Caleb Natoa on pole position. He's a star of the future. We've got Shane, who's won two of the 3 races so far. Murph, you could never ever discount Murph. He actually taught me my first single-seater drive, can you believe? About 30 years ago, so we're going back a few days.
And of course you've got the Leach brothers, Daniel Gawn, a 2-time champ. So special scenes, a special day. Let's hope it turns out to be a very special race for everyone concerned.
Absolutely, thanks very much.
I understand you've got a couple of other things to do with Kenny Smith, so we'll let you get on with it, mate.
Thanks, Clint. Let's have a great race.
Yeah, what a great idea.
I'm with Jeff Short, the General Manager or owner of Speedworks. Jeff, you know, this is an amazing series that you've been involved with now for several years and put together with Toyota. But unfortunately, there's a few things that just weren't able to happen this year. So just talk us through some of the things that have affected this series.
Look, obviously with COVID, we're really disappointed not to go down and put on our series in the South Island, which we've been there for years. It's probably the first time in motorsport that we haven't gone south. We're going to be back strong next year. So certainly a big shout out for the fans in South Island. We want to come and see you. This event's been amazing. I mean, it was a great initiative to obviously bring along some of the star drivers for a New Zealand Grand Prix, and what a fantastic Grand Prix it's shaping up to be. The partnership with Hampton Downs has been amazing. The team that they've and the effort they've put into it as well with my team has been a credit to everyone.
Look, I just look at the car parks. The car parks are full. I look at the people and the crowd that's sitting here, up in the terraces, everywhere. You know, it's got to be pleasing as a promoter to have this sort of feel about this event again.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And look, Tony Quinn, as you've seen probably earlier on, he wanted this event here, and he certainly made a lot happen, and a lot of credit to him. And as I say, the Hampton Downs team, our Speedworks team, it's amazing to see the crowd. I've never seen a crowd like this here before. So,
well done, mate. You've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, thanks to everybody, and thanks to our team.
Yes, I know that Shorty and the team from Speedworks has worked really hard to make it a great event for you, the fans, to enjoy at home, live on Spark Sport, and also for the fans here at Trackside to really get a buzz and a sense of the atmosphere. And JC Spillane, the COO, the Chief Operating Officer, Tony Quinn's basically right-hand driver, right-hand woman. This is fantastic, isn't it, mate?
Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. We are just blown away by the crowds, the drivers, the categories, the staff, the volunteers. We couldn't have asked for more. What a magic day in New Zealand motorsport.
An historic race for the Hampton Downs as a circuit, the first ever GP and the historic Race of Champions.
Absolutely, and also obviously honouring Kenny Smith's 50th Grand Prix. We feel so proud to be part of that, and I have to admit to having a lump in my throat as we saw him take off in his F5000, just so special. And to have all of these people here today, New Zealand's race fans out in full support of him, absolutely fantastic.
And a great shot of the class of 16 for 2021, despite COVID, despite the lockdown. We're out of it and we're getting ready for the big race.
Yeah, they've just been an incredible group of guys who have given up not only so much of their time to engage with the fans, but also to come be part of this event, support Hamptons, support motorsport, and be our drivers for the 66th New Zealand Grand Prix. How lucky we are to be in New Zealand.
Love your smile, JC. Keep smiling. It's been a great day. Let's hope it's a great race.
Thanks very much. See you at the end.
Well, this is tradition here at the Grand Prix, the photo. And remember, there is a lot of tradition that goes back to the 50s and the Tasman Race Series. And the tradition has it that all the drivers have their photograph taken. It's similar at the Macau Grand Prix, which I also do. And they too have a similar photograph. The Macau Grand Prix and the New Zealand Grand Prix, the only two races in the world outside of Formula One to have that accolade. And in a moment, we'll have that national anthem sung, and then we'll be ready to race. Wonderful sights and sounds from Hampton Downs in their first ever Grand Prix. Look at that crowd. Had a chance to get amongst it, meet the drivers, see the cars up close. Let's head now to hear the national anthem of New Zealand.
E o a tua ona iwi matora ata whakarongona me aroha noa kia hua ko te pai kia tatoa ta whai mana ki tia mai o te aroa. God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God, defend our free land. God, Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God, defend New Zealand. By the President of the FIA, Mr. John Todd, congratulating you not only on achieving your 50th Grand Prix start, but also commending you on all of the work that you've done in mentoring and supporting drivers over the years, many of whom are standing here behind you, that you're about to go and take part with. Also, on behalf of Motorsport New Zealand, we would like to recognise your achievement of 50 years of Grand Prix racing in New Zealand with a token of our esteem for your achievement. All the very best.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very special presentation by Mr. Christie from Motorsport New Zealand to Kenny Smith with the gold watch. And of course, after Warwick Mitchell sang that national anthem, so just about ready to race, Kenny. Fantastic moment for Kenny Smith in his 50th Grand Prix. Give him a round of applause, New Zealand. 79 years old, a living legend.
Nico, this has been an incredibly difficult year. You're so proud of the series, the TRS category manager. How hard has it been for you to get to this point now? We're about to start the 66th New Zealand Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's been a very challenging year, but everybody, Toyota, Ampton Downs Speedway, put all golden efforts just to make it happen, and we're pretty proud just to have been able to put such a great grade for Kenny's 50 Grand Prix, and having the best Kiwis racing with him on that special occasion is very something special, and we can be very proud of everybody to have put that effort to make it happen.
On behalf of New Zealand motorsport fans, I just want to say thank you to you and to Toyota New Zealand for bringing the series to New Zealand several years ago, what you've done with the international drivers, where they've gone to. You know, Lando Norris now, Formula One. We've got Liam Lawson sitting that way. It's an amazing series. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're very proud as well because Yuki Tsunoda, imagine that last year he was racing in TRS, and in a couple of months he will start again in F1. So we have 18 drivers, and we got Marcus Armstrong next Monday will test the Ferrari. So we'll be our 19 alumni driving an F1 car from TRS in only 16 years. It's pretty impressive.
It is, and it just shows you how important it is to have the New Zealand Grand Prix as a win on your CV.
Exactly.
Thanks, mate.
No worries.
And as Kenny Smith puts his earplugs in, he says he can't hear, but he needs to get those earplugs in, and they're all helping him out on what this is a very auspicious occasion for him. Now, one of his mentors and the man who looks after him so often is actually racing, and that, of course, is Tom Alexander. He is the perfect person to show us round this Hampton Downs circuit.
I'm Tom Alexander, driver of number 22 FT60 TRS car. We're here at Hampton Downs this weekend for the 66th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix, and this weekend we're running the international track, something a little bit different for TRS cars, first time on the circuit. Original track obviously just here, we used to turn sort of halfway down the now longest straight on the track across the old turn 2 and 3. We now carry straight on down a long straight into quite a bumpy braking area into the Hampton HD Academy hairpin down the bottom there. Very bumpy, like I said, on approach. Really got the thing slowed down, quite easy to lock a front on the way in there and push slightly wide. So really important to get the speed out of it, get the car rotating, get on the power nice and early. Short run up to Kev's carousel, bit of banking in there, so you can actually use that to pull the car down to the apex and carry a bit more speed through the middle. A little bit of transition across the top over a wee crest, which can get the car a little bit light on exit, so to watch that when you feed the power on. And then into the swampy curves. Quite a tricky wee section of track. Quite tight on the initial part, got an apex quite early and then push up in the middle. And then it's a fast exit through the second part. Really quite demanding. It'll be very interesting over a long race to see how the neck holds up. And then up to the aptly named Double Bastard. It is a blind approach on the way. You can't see the first apex until really late. Then it's off camber, it's bumpy across the top, over a crest, and then a tight wee nip back for the second part. So that's going to be very tough for in the race as well. Very hard on the arms and wrists as it goes across the bumps and then back onto the old circuit and rejoining all the rest of the track that we love here at Hampton Downs. So it's going to be a super demanding track. Should be an awesome weekend of racing. Hopefully put on some good passes and racing for the fans, and hopefully you'll all enjoy it.
We just hear as Tom Alexander's getting belted into his car, putting his gloves on, steering wheel's going in, just putting this final soft pad here around to protect his head. We'll get a word with Tom shortly. Tom, how are you feeling right now before the start of this Grand Prix?
There's always a few nerves before a big race like this, obviously, but when the lights go out, that all disappears, obviously. So in a decent starting spot here. Made some changes to the car, so hopefully we've got a bit better balance than the rest of the weekend.
Good luck, mate. All the best. Let's hope it's your name on the end of it.
Thank you very much.
As always, the calm before the storm here, and as Liam Lawson just mentioned, this is the worst time for the drivers. The nerves start to come in, and we start to feel that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. For sure, the tradition of 66 years of running this Grand Prix, and one man entering his 50th Grand Prix, and a wonderful occasion, and for the first time at Hampton Downs as well. If we look down the grid, what a moment for this young man, Caleb Ngātaua. A relative unknown in this field of champions. New Zealand fans know who he is. He's come through the ranks, but I don't think he even expected to be on pole position today. An absolutely fantastic effort in the wet. You wouldn't have believed if you weren't here earlier what the weather was like earlier this morning compared to how it is now. But what a challenge he is up against. He sits alongside a two-time winner. And if you want determination, look no further than Daniel Gaunt. The history of this Grand Prix of three-time winners is short. Kenny Smith, Sterling Moss, Sir Sterling Moss, Craig Baird, Sir Jack Brabham, and Nick Cassidy. Gaunt could add his name to that today if he gets the start and he gets away from the youngster. But Daniel Gaunt knows all about Caleb Ngātaua, and he won't be giving him anything. And he also knows the pedigree of this man, Chris Vanderdrift, a three-time winner and over 50 championships represented here. But this man has strode around Asia for the last few years, tearing up the circuits of Southeast Asia in the Porsche Carrera Cup, a three-time champion in that. And he too would love nothing more than to take Tasman Motorsports, one of the most famous names in the game. 2 years ago, Liam Lawson strode to fame, and within a couple of days, he not only celebrated his birthday, he celebrated being picked up by Helmut Marko and Red Bull, and will now enter Formula 2. He looks after, and look at this, Shane van Gisbergen. This is the big story. Shane in pit lane. What a shame. They did not get him out in time. And for those of you who know the New Zealand Grand Prix and the TRS series, for it to happen to M2 competition is just unacceptable by their standard. There could have been a technical issue, we don't know, because he's not in his normal pit. So I think that's the reason why Shane was late. So either way, Shane van Gisbergen will have, well, he was going to start 10th, but now he'll start from the pit lane and right at the very back. He's got it all to do. But so far, he's 2 for 2. If he wins his third race of the weekend and the Grand Prix, and let's remember, this man has not won the Grand Prix. What a day it would be for Red Bull and the 97. You heard mention of Yuki Tsunoda. He too now gone on to Formula One. And if you're wondering why the Kiwis get so excited about this Grand Prix, Mike is down there, and Mike Lightfoot would be right on the money when it comes to that story. So we'll find out. Mike, go ahead.
He's starting in pit lane. In actual fact, the fire extinguisher went off in Shane's car. So from a safety point of view, they had to replace the fire extinguisher. That's why Shane's now starting from pit lane.
Perfect, Mike. Thank you. I wanted that story told. No fault of his own or M2, so I take back what I said, because you can't expect that. But it's also very important that you have that fire extinguisher. They have 7 seconds to get out, but what if you couldn't get out? Then that fire extinguisher, with either a marshal or Shane himself, would need to use it. And so safety is always paramount. This is a junior series. It might be a race of champions today, but this is all about learning, all about safety, and all about great racing. And as we get ready, think about some of the stats. 16 years of TRS racing, and I was about to tell you why the Kiwis get so excited about this. You heard Nicholas Kayo saying that come next week will be the 19th driver to graduate from this series to drive a Formula One car. Lance Stroll won the Grand Prix a few years ago. Liam Lawson won it in 2019. Lando Norris won it just a couple of years ago. He now drives for McLaren Formula One. Earl Bamber will be watching, as will another former winner, Mitch Evans. Some of the greats of motor racing have all taken part in this race, and some of the greats are still out there, like Kenny Smith. What drama lays ahead? 28 laps, a 66th running, 1 Grand Prix, 1 winner. And that famous trophy will add 1 name. What a fairy tale it could be for Caleb Nartoa. But what can this man do, Shane van Gisbergen? The Giz has got it all to do. Has he got the wings that Red Bull gave him? Because he's really up against it now. He'll come out at the back. And here is the grid for the 66th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix. Caleb Nartoa in pole position. Daniel Gaunt, 2-time winner alongside him. Chris Vanderdrift looked quick all weekend long in 3rd. The youngster, Matthew Payne, been on the podium twice already. Greg Murphy, the legend, in 5th. Tom Alexander, bags of experience in 6th. Andre Heimgartner, the tin top hero, is in 7th. Damon Leach, 2011 to 2015, he was a regular fixture here, as was his brother and is his brother. Conrad Clark almost got the pole before he went off. Shane van Gisbergen was supposed to start 10th. He'll start at the back. Billy Fraser, another youngster, making his name. Peter Bogdanovic, the Best Bars 86 champion. Joshua Bethune, the 18-year-old. Chris Block coming back to race for the Grand Prix in this special race of champions. Brendan Leach coming to do the championship. He's not won the Grand Prix, and he's not won the championship. What a wonderful day for him. But all eyes will be on Kenny Smith. He pulled out of race 2 with a shoulder issue. He had some pain in that shoulder because he's just had an operation. But he wants to finish this Grand Prix so badly. He's completed every one. His team said, hey, man, if you don't feel like it, just pull out of the Grand Prix. He said, I will be doing the 28 laps. So watch out for Kenny Smith. He'll keep out of everybody's way. He's not as fast as he used to be, but what a legend. And so nice to see John Tott and the FIA realising his achievements over the years. And this is going to be really something. Caleb Nartoa has never had this kind of pressure against him. He's got the best, the very best of New Zealand motorsport up against him. And we could add another field to this of those watching on, from Fabian Coulthard to Scott Dixon to Earl Bamber. And then there's the foreigners that have been here, like Lance Stroll. And I know that Lando Norris will be watching it. It changed his career as a young 15 and 16-year-old. He was shy. He was not the personality that he is now and the mega star that he is now. But the Toyota Racing Series, like it has done for so many young drivers, made their name here at this Grand Prix. Ferdinand Habsburg racing at Daytona this weekend. He'll be watching, and so too Pippo Durrani and many, many others. Here comes Shane into the pit lane. He has to do that. The good thing for Shane, though, is he's so experienced, he's so laid back, he's seen it all before, he's had it when he's up against it. He won't be bothered by the fact that he's got to start from pit lane. It might scare a youngster, but Shane's got all the experience to turn it into something special. He knows he's up against it, but watch him side through. I'm pretty sure he'll be there and in the running. The thing about the Grand Prix is everyone's desperate, and we've always had safety car after safety car, crash after crash. I don't think it'll be that way today, but you never know. Hampton Downs making its third. Lights are out, and we're ready to go racing. Away they go. Chris Vanderdrift gets a good start. Caleb Nartoa defends his position nicely. Well done to Caleb Nartoa. And into the first corner they go. Everybody cleanly through. Nartoa under pressure though. And Daniel Gaunt's side by side with him. Here they go. But Nartoa, no! It looks as though Gaunt's got him, and he has. Daniel Gaunt takes the lead. Chris Vanderdrift in 3rd place. Nartoa trying to hang on as they go through Kevs for the first time. Good start from Vanderdrift. Everybody squeezing through there. Matthew Payne got away well. He's down in 5th at the moment. Looking down, Heimgartner 7th, Damon Leach 8th, Conrad Clark 9th, Billy Fraser down there. Murph He's up to 6 already. So then, good clean start here for the Grand Prix. A long way to go. Everybody's nerves starting to jangle and settle down finally. Nato trying to defend from Chris van der Drift as they go through the dipper for the first time. And this is the start that Daniel Gorn wanted. Remember, looking for that third victory here in the Grand Prix. What an occasion, what a day, and through comes Shane van Gisbergen right at the back. He's already caught onto the back marker there of Kenny Smith. I mean, we buy him too, as the rest of the field fly up the 950 metres and across the line for the first time. Daniel Gorn does an opening lap of 136.7, 137.5 from Natoa. Natoa, though, was settling. Oh, touch! And wide and onto the grass. That was a moment, big moment there for the 22 of Tom Alexander. Tom Alexander, of course, went off into the second race, and he's just about got it all together, but that was a moment and a half for him. Let's hope there's no damage to Tom Alexander, who's been a huge part in the development of this car and has yet to do a Grand Prix, so this is his first Grand Prix. He's ahead of Brendan Leach at the moment. Here's another look at it. So he was already very wide on his own volition, but I think he just couldn't come back on. And that was a big moment, because once you start putting the power down in the dirt like that, it can go horribly wrong. Still very tight at the front. Gorn trying to pull away from Nato, but Nato has settled down now, and Van der Drift is right there in the top 3. In fact, the top 4 with Heimgartner. Really impressive, up to 4th place now, and they're pulling away now from Matthew Payne. Just behind Payne is the legend that is Greg Murphy. Greg Murphy got a good qualifying in the wet. I think he surprised himself. He too pulled out of race 2 with a broken front wing and thought he'd rest up. He is worried about the physicality of this long, long race as Gorn crosses the line 132.6. We're up to speed now. We're expecting the fastest laps to be in the low 130s. Van der Drift at 132.1, so the fastest man out on track at the moment is Chris van der Drift in 3rd place. The field's starting to spread out. It looks like this: Gorn, Nato, van der Drift. And there, look at this, Murphy pushing hard and pushing on. And Greg Murphy having a go at Damon Leach now. Damon Leach hasn't driven one of these cars for a fair few years. He, of course, runs the Highland circuit now for Tony Quinn, so he doesn't get a chance to do a lot of single-seater racing per se. But great to have Damon Leach back in the fold as we go back to the front. Gorn, Nato, van der Drift, the fastest man out there, and looking to get past Nato as soon as he can. Heimgartner up there in 4th, Payne, Murphy, Leach, Alexandra, Brendan Leach in 9th, and the top 10 rounded out by Conrad Clark. We're keeping an eye on Van Gisbergen, who is closing in on Chris Block at the moment at the back of this grid. In fact, I think he's passed him already. So a good, clean start, what we wanted. And Damon Leach in the orange and white heads back up the hill, as do the leaders. Brendan Leach's brother. Little bit of potential rain in the air, and you can see the puffs of cloud and a few grey ones up there. And with this being such a long race, 25 laps to go, and the possibility, obviously, of a safety car if somebody does have a prank. But here comes Van der Drift, and surely he's going to make the move now. And he jigs to the inside, and that is classic overtaking by the experienced man for Tasman Motorsport. And Tasman back in the fold with Horn and his wife Christine, Steve Horn. And this would be a wonderful weekend. They've never really been part of New Zealand motorsport, but they said earlier in the weekend that they'll keep coming back if they can till they win it. And they might just do it today. It was interesting to hear Steve Horn saying, there he is, saying that Chris van der Drift is probably one of the most underrated drivers, and I think I would agree. He's done most of his racing abroad, has Chris. Went to Australia as a youngster. Got a huge pedigree, and it's great to have those famous colours back in New Zealand and racing. We heard from Steve earlier that he saw all the greats come here during the Tasman series when Kenny was a nipper. What's going on at the back here? And it looks as though Shane is carving his way through. He's just got past Billy Fraser. So Shane van Gisbergen is moving up, and very quickly moving up too. As they cross the line again, we'll see where he's managed to place himself. And already Van Gisbergen up to 12th place. So there he goes into turn 1, having started from the pit lane. And if you didn't see the start of the race, and this is how he did it, round the outside of the dipper on young Billy Fraser. Nicely done. Oh, just kept his foot in, using his experience then. Oh, that could have ended in tears. Well, Billy Fraser, welcome to the real world. Well, you'll be able to tell his mates at the bar about that one. Me and Shane came together. It'll be good fun. Shane van Gisbergen, of course, the Bathurst 1000 winner last year and the 2016 V8 Supercars champion. Now, here's the battle for the lead. Daniel Gaunt and Van der Drift. And this is really going to be interesting, because if these two get in fisticuffs, neither one is going to give. This is the Grand Prix. They want it bad. And Nato is right there too. And Heimgardner is surprising everybody, because this is his first real run at TRS. And while he's got a huge pedigree in V8s, this is not his forte. And there are a few drops of rain I see as the rain continues to approach potentially. But at the moment, it's just spitting at certain parts of the track. And this is a good run by Van der Drift. He's tucked in right behind Gaunt now, comes alongside in the drag race down to turn 2. They're side by side, but the best line is with the 27, and he does hold on. But Van der Drift comes alongside him again now. They hit then. They touch then. Absol is damaged. Van der Drift's got damage. They touch. And there's damage to Chris Van der Drift's wing. After that, coming together on the exit of turn 2, as they went into Kev's, you can see the wing dropping to the bottom or left there. And that is disaster. He's going to have to... Oh, no! It's going under the car. He's going to have to pull out of this or pull in very quickly. But Nato is going to go past very quick into the dipper pretty much. And that is absolute disaster for Tasman and for Chris Van der Drift. But good racing. Now, the question is Daniel Gaunt's car okay? What a race. 5 men at the front. And look at Damon Leach in 6. Here's another look at it as they dive into turn 2. Yes, well, to be fair, no problem from Gaunt. He had nothing to do with it. It was all Chris Van der Drift. But could there be a puncher for Daniel Gaunt, I wonder? So, drama indeed. And sure enough, Chris Van der Drift comes in. And you can see that face tells the story. I don't need to commentate on that. What a disaster for the... So they'll be able to get that front wing on very quickly, but of course he's out of contention now. But the question is Daniel Gaunt's tyre fully inflated? He's still leading the race. Won't take long to put a new nose on, and away it goes. Oh, more drama, and it is. I think it's Gaunt. Somebody's parked up. It's Peter Vodanovic that's parked up, and that will bring the safety car out, and that is good timing, actually, for Van der Drift, because that will slow the whole field down. And let's have a look at the 27 of Daniel Gaunt. Is he still running? I don't see anything too in particular wrong with the car, but we'll see. Wow. We're looking at the rear right. That's the one that was touched. And the safety car, sure enough, is out. Now, has he got a slow puncture? There's Vodanovic's car. And, oh, well, we knew there'd be drama. And this, of course, plays into the hands of Shane van Gisbergen, who's already up to 11th place. And that rear right. Let's have a look at it again. See it closely. I don't think it's got a puncture, personally. And if it is, it's deflating very slowly. But now we're under safety. And this is, if anybody's watched the Grand Prix over the years, this is pretty normal. And the reason we've got the safety, obviously, they've got to get rid of Peter's car. And that's why we've got trucks on track. And so now, discussions going on in the Tasman team as they've got their man back out there, but of course he's back at the back. It's going to help them. The timing was pretty good, actually, for Chris van der Drift. And the one thing I've learned about this Grand Prix is you never say never. I've seen some amazing finishes in this, and I've seen one race with 6 safety cars. I've seen some races red flagged, and I've seen some races go with maybe a couple of cautions, no more. Oh, the safety car out, the wind blowing, a few drops of rain as well to add to the drama. And at the moment, Gaunt looking okay. I feel for Peter Vodanovic, his first Grand Prix, and I have to say, I'm the first to say, well done, Peter. He's equipped himself very well indeed. And here's another look. To be fair, Chris can blame no one but himself because he banged into the back of Gaunt's car, and that's where that tyre, you can see the line on the rear right, and if it didn't get a puncture, well done to the tyre manufacturers because that was a heavy hit, and those wings, those carbon fibre wings are very sharp. The safety car out then, and everything calms down just for a moment. Long way to go. Let's head down to Mike in the pits.
Craig, Daniel Gaunt's engineer, are you a little worried about that tyre?
Not really, no. The wing clipped the tyre on the very back of it, not on the sidewall, so there shouldn't be any problem with it. He's not complaining. We're not stopping.
Awesome, mate. Thank you. There you go. You heard it. So there's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to fear but fear itself. Yeah, well, it's the Grand Prix. You just got to go for it until it does actually deflate, if it deflates. But like he says, if Gaunt's not complaining, then it must be okay. And he's now been circulating for a fair few couple of laps since that incident. So if it hasn't gone down yet, I don't think it's going down. So the safety car comes round. We'll have another lap. And there you can see Peter Vodanovic's car being taken away down the back straight, and it won't be long before I've got a feeling that we'll restart or get underway again in the next lap because they're coming down towards turn 2, and that incident is right at the end of the lap, so plenty of time, at least a few minutes before the next lap. And I think they should get him out in time because there's plenty of room down there just to get him out of harm's way. They don't have to get on track and drive him back. But then again, it's a long race and the team will want to see that car back as quickly as they can because you never know. You want to get him back in the fray. And that's another mistake people make here is to just throw in the towel. With this Grand Prix, I've seen red flags. I've seen all sorts. So you never say never when it's such a prestigious event. And there's Chris van der Drift back out. The safety car will be coming in this lap. So van der Drift's got it all to do now, as has Shane van Gisbergen, who's now up to 9th place before the safety car came out. So Shane is on the move. What a start. We started this day with rain. The lights are out on the safety car now. We started this day with rain and mist, and now look at it, glorious sunshine. The lights on the safety car are out as we head towards the dipper. And so now, Daniel Gaunt leads the field. We'll get him up to speed. And Nato has got another chance now to gather himself. And it's actually been good for the youngster because he knows now he's in a fight. He got overtaken quite quickly. And now he's got it all to do. Heimgartner now up to 3rd place, though. That's what's interesting. I want to see what Andre can do from there. Out comes the safety car, and off the track he goes. So the control of the race is with Daniel Gaunt. He leads them down to the sweeper, and he's already accelerating up to speed. He wants to get those tyres up to speed as quickly as possible, and he's a sitting duck for the first corner, and he knows it. So he's going to try to get away from Nato as soon as he can. Heimgartner got away well. Good chance for now for Andre Heimgartner as we go green. It's the 66 Grand Prix. here at Hampton Downs for the first time. Watch out behind Gardner, making a move too. Gardner tucks himself in behind the youngster. And he does jink to the inside, but it's not close enough. Nato has done enough to hold him off. Here comes Damon Leach. Oh, hold on to it, son. And he hasn't, unfortunately, lost that space, but it was a good move. Well, you can't say he's not trying, Damon Leach. Good effort, son. Gorn, Nato, Heimgartner, Payne, Leach. Losing the place out, and Brendan Leach is right behind him now. Greg Murphy, still in the top 8. Don't ever count out Greg Murphy. Yes, this is going to be the battle of the Leaches now. Mum, hold on to your crumpets, because here come your boys. Damon in the white and orange, and the all-yellow ITM of Brendan behind him. And look who's behind them. What a fun time this is going to be. Shane van Gisbergen, right behind Brendan Leach. He has done a phenomenal job of getting and carving his way through this field. Shane van Gisbergen, who started with a exploded fire extinguisher, and now look at him go. He really does have the wings. But I'll tell you what, Brendan Leach around this Hampton Downs circuit is no easy overtake. Cross the line they come. Daniel Gorn showing no signs of trouble at the moment. He crosses the line with a 131.8. But Matthew Payne, a 131.7, he's faster. 131.5 from Shane van Gisbergen. The man is flying, and he needs to. Van Gisbergen up to 7th place. What a hero. Here he is. Said he struggled to get physically into the car when he first found it. The FT60 was a struggle for him. He's such a tall lad. And now he's got a double Leach battle on his hands. The two boys from Terratonga who grew up racing, quite literally, as they were kids. Their father here this weekend, still fettling with the old 5000s, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Brendan has an accomplished career ahead of him and continues to race in Asia in both sports cars and single-seaters. He's just come off H&F Prix. So Shane's up against it here. And Nato doing a good job so far, staying with Daniel Gorn, who can't shake him at the moment, but Gorn has escaped what could have been disaster. Leach tries to defend, but here comes Shane. Van Gisbergen around the outside of the sweeper. He's got good drive. He'll keep his foot in, and he does. Now he's got the drive on Brendan. Brendan will try to defend. He can't do anything more than that. And they're almost side by side as they come across the line. And Shane van Gisbergen's got the better line. And he does go through. Brilliantly done by Shane van Gisbergen. Pure class by the former V8 champion. And Brendan's coming back at him at turn 2. Leach will not be denied. Oh, brilliant stuff by Brendan Leach. That's how you do it, son. ITM, he'll be right. Back comes Shane at Kevs. Oh, classic racing here, just what we wanted. Two of the best. And they're still side by side as they go through Swampy Curve. On the inside now, back to the outside. And this is just what we wanted to see up the road. Damon Leach is getting advantage as these two fight. Through the double B they go. And back into the right-hander. And back up the hill towards the dipper. Well, Brendan Leach, not afraid to fight for sure. What a lovely shot that is. As Shane van Gisbergen, the engineer, watches on. And he has done a phenomenal job. He's now up to 6th place in this Grand Prix with 17 laps to go. Just under. He's won both the races so far, Shane van Gisbergen. But the prize he seeks is the one he's never won in New Zealand, and that's the Grand Prix. Damon is the next Leach. Up for the pressure of the mighty Giz. Here he comes. Through turn 1, nicely done, nice and safe, and not so clear there by Billy Fraser, though. And Nato doing an exceptional job of staying with him in the leader. And Heimgartner's glued to the back of Natoa. Caleb Natoa, pole position for this race. His mum here, delighted this morning when he got that pole, and I don't think he could believe it, to be honest. It was a little bit of a strange qualifying with wet and drying conditions. Some on wet, some on dry. Let's head down to Mike in the pits with Peter Vodanovich.
I pushed up and, screen went completely black, so I just had to pull off, and there was no turning it back on. The car was just dead, so really unfortunate.
Bad luck, mate. Unfortunately, that's motorsport, as we all know.
Yeah, all you can do is control the controllable, so I'm just hungry for the next round.
Good on you, buddy. We'll see you at the next one. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, great sportsman, and the Aucklander will be back next weekend to do it again, and I think he's equipped himself well enough. Couldn't do anything about that sort of problem as they come up the hill one more time. The wind blowing, no rain yet. Natoa still looking for a way past Daniel Gorn. Gears now in 5th place. Look at this. He's 5th place, and he's now going to chase down the young Matthew Payne. Matthew saying that Shane Van Gisbergen, a little bit of a hero. Natoa jigs to the inside at turn 2. Can't quite do it, and around the outside goes Heimgartner. Can he make it stick? Can't get the drive, or can he? On the inside, they're side by side. Giz, meanwhile, look at this. Yes, he's done it. He's got past Natoa. So Heimgartner, 2nd place. Can you believe this? Andre Heimgartner, who no one would have said would be a favourite for this, although he's an accomplished driver. In this field, though, and Andre is driving out of his skin right now in 2nd place. He wants it just as bad as anyone. This race of champions, this stars in cars, just what we wanted. Gisbergen up to 4th. Shane Van Gisbergen is now 4th place. So what a race. And it just gets better and better. This is how he got it. He got through on Damon Leach. That was for 5th place. At the dipper. Took the 2nd leach. Brilliantly done. So back up the hill, and I think Giz is in the mood, don't you? Shane Van Gisbergen. He may not fit in the car, but it certainly suits him. Into turn 1. Natoa under pressure now, like never before. He's going to look in his mirrors and see one of the most accomplished drivers in the history of New Zealand motorsport. Right at the top of his game as well. And through enough he comes. And Shane Van Gisbergen doesn't need a 2nd invitation, but Natoa holds him, does he? Yes, go on, son. No respect for his elders. Natoa says, no, mate, I'm going to shine today. And I know you're good, but I'm going to be as good one day. And maybe it will be today. Meanwhile, Heimgartner's all over Gorn. Daniel Gorn continues to lead the Grand Prix. Shane Van Gisbergen has been the story all weekend long and continues to be, having started from the pit lane. He won the first 2 races of the weekend in style. The first one very close with Chris van der Drift. The second equally as close, and another lunge by Shane Van Gisbergen, and he makes it look easy as he moves up to 3rd place. Is destiny on his side, I wonder today, because he had sided his way into contention. He's now 3rd. Natoa will try to go around the outside of the dipper at the sweeper and get the best drive he can up the hill. Can he make a lunge back at Shane Van Gisbergen? Well, he's on the outside. That's not usually the place to be if you want to do an overtake into turn 1. And Natoa almost does it, but he does get good drive. Come on, Caleb. The man from Martin, go on. Taking on the mighty Shane Van Gisbergen from just down the road. And Giz defends. Gets as wide as he can. Caleb right in his exhaust. And as he fights, he's also playing to the hands of Matthew Payne, who's already had a couple of podiums. And the young 18-year-old has made a name for himself too. But this is what we wanted. Yes, it's the race of champions, as Tony Quinn wanted, and I hope he's falling off his chair in the Gold Coast right now watching this, because this is what we wanted. the best of the best against the youngsters coming up. And the youngsters are proving to be just the equal of these superstars. Fantastic racing. Daniel Gorn, though, has managed to suck up the pressure quite literally for the entire race so far. And despite that one safety car, also look at this. High Plains Drifter in Chris van der Drift is up to 10th. So he too, having been in the pits and got a new wing, front wing, is now in the top 10. Let's just breathe for a second. Daniel Gorn, Heimgartner, Van Gisbergen 3rd, Nato 4th, Payne 5th, Damon Leake 6th, Brendan Leake 7th, Greg Murphy still in 8th position, Tom Alexander 9th, Chris van der Drift in 10th, Fraser 11th, Conrad Clark 12th, Josh Bethune 13th, Chris Block 14th, and Kenny Smith, the mighty Kenny Smith, pedaling along in 15th place. Damon Leach under pressure now. Damon Leach actually, just took, while I was looking at my timing place, he actually went through on Matthew Payne. So this is an almighty battle, but here comes Shane van Gisbergen. Well, we've got it really, there's battles everywhere. It's hard to keep up with. But the top three, you can throw a blanket over them. Here we go. And look at this. Oh, Shane van Gisbergen looking for second place now. And he's got it into the dipper, or has he? Great stuff. And there's nothing between them. And Heimgartner will not be denied. And these two have raced each other many a time. And this is fantastic. Absolutely what they wanted. Josie Spillane and the Hampton Downs team couldn't have written a better script for this Grand Prix. She said she was pinching herself before the start, and I bet she still is. This was brilliant. And look at Brendan Leach there, side by side, as they dive into the first corner again. It's still Gorn, Heimgartner, and Van Gisbergen. Nartoa still with them in 4. Then a gap to Damon Leach. Behind Leach, Brendan and Matthew Payne. Here comes Brendan. Again on Payne. He lost out to Payne. He's trying to get back. No pain, no gain, they say. Out of turn 2, and a moment there for Brendan. He went a little bit sideways, lost a bit of drive, but he's still there. Through swampy curves they come. There's just no letting up. This is an absolute sprint race. I bet some of them are praying for another safety car with the sheer physicality of this. It's really intense. And Gorn doing a really good job in the game over car. He had his right rear tapped, but luckily not too hard. Here comes Shane van Gisbergen up the inside into second place now. And surely Shane van Gisbergen is going to make a run for the lead. They can't believe what they're watching here. This is sensational racing. And now Daniel Gorn will be all too aware of who's behind him. Heimgartner, though, won't sit down and won't take it lying down. And you can see he needs some extra chewing gum, I think. As they come across the line again, Shane van Gisbergen has gone from last to second. And there's still a long way to go in this race. They call it the Race of Champions, and so far it's been worthy of that as somebody goes very wide. It's Tommy Alexander again. I think he's left his coat out there. He keeps looking for it. I don't know what's gone on there, but he just missed his braking point again. And Tom Alexander in his first Grand Prix as Shane van Gisbergen. You can see by the car moving underneath him and his hands working the wheel just how on it he is at the moment. And this is precious time for the 27, Daniel Gorn, because he really is in a fight now. Van Gisbergen said in the press conferences, Van Gisbergen takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff. And the crowd roars here at Hampton Downs as their hero Shane van Gisbergen takes the lead. And Gorn is trying everything to stay with him. We think maybe Daniel Gorn could have a problem. Let's have a look at the overtake first and foremost. Oh, that was Chris Vanderdrift. That's what led Tom Alexander to go off. So Vanderdrift just gave him a little luck tap, and that pushed him onto the grass. But now Shane van Gisbergen leads this race, and Mark Pilcher and the team watch on, and a roar from the crowd. Damon Leach side by side with Natoa. And does he get past? Yes. What a run this is from Damon Leach. With, whoa, and another Natoa. It's almost a repeat of last time out. He might have broken something as he slowed right down. But no, he's coming back at Leach. Wow, this is incredible stuff. Natoa has lost several places and lives to fight again. But Van Gisbergen leads this race. And he was saying earlier in the press conference after the first day that he was surprised that these aero cars were able to stay so close together. He didn't expect that, and he expected to lose out with the aerodynamics and not be able to race as hard as he is. Here's Damon Leach again coming through, and well, to be fair to Damon, he certainly didn't intend that, and that's where Natoa went wide, and luckily, and it was almost a repeat of something we saw earlier with Caleb Natoa, where he bounced even higher last time out. So Shane van Gisbergen leads this race. Andre Harmgartner is in second place. In third, it's Daniel Gaunt, who led for so long. Natoa stays fourth. Damon Leach brilliantly in fifth place. And I say brilliantly because he hasn't raced for a long time in this category. It's been at least 6 years. Meanwhile, behind him is Matthew Payne, the young hero so far of the weekend of the youngsters. But Caleb could be taking that mantle, but I say that just as he overtakes Damon Leach. Nicely done. Oh, and he pushes Leach wide, and oh, Leach, very wide indeed. But he too just gets back on track and gets in front of Caleb. Or stays in front of Caleb, I should say. And Natoa tries around the outside. He'll have to keep his foot in if he's going to get past. And sure enough, Natoa does just that. So, Matthew Payne now going in pursuit of Gaunt. Fastest lap of the day so far, 1:30.6. Here's another look at Damon Leach and Matthew Payne. And yeah, similar sort of thing, really. And yeah, it's just seemingly a classic part of this Hydrolink corner that if you're on the line and you come side by side with somebody's got to give, and you can't turn in, and you're going to end up on the grass. Van Gisbergen now starting to get into his stride, 1:30.6. He's done the fastest lap of the race so far on lap 20. 8 to go in the Grand Prix. Superb job so far by Chris Vanderdrift. He's now back up to 8th and behind Brendan Leach. He's going to attempt to get past both Leaches. Great to see the Leach boys back on track as through goes Matthew Payne. Made it look easy. Lawson will be happy with that one. Liam Lawson, that's the man. The F2 driver for Red Bull. And of course, the 2019 champion and Grand Prix winner. Looking after this youngster who he raced against just a couple of years ago. I love these fairy tale stories of New Zealand motorsport as Brendan Leach is under pressure now from Chris Vanderdrift. Vanderdrift trying to get past him, and they're queuing up behind Brendan, who slowed a little bit because Damon, his brother, his older brother, is up the road, and Brendan's struggling as we take another look at Liam. We're trying to smile and trying to stay composed. But I've been calling Matthew Payne laid back Mac because he has been so cool. Liam tries to smile to the cameras. I think he's enjoying this. I know he'd love to be out there. Chris Vanderdrift not yet so far got past Brendan Leach, but he's got another chance now. He looks to the inside, a little jink there, try to take that. The blue flag's out, but I think they're aware of how close things are. Van Gisbergen has broken the toe, and he's just lapped Kenny Smith, who's still circulating, determined to get those 28 laps. But Kenny will stay right out of the way, I'm sure. as the field flows through. There is the mighty Kenny Smith, 79 and still going strong. Letting everybody go through. And I think he'll be smiling to himself of how well he knows these youngsters and how he's been a part of all their lives as Leach continues to try to hold off Van der Drift. And this is a good story from Chris Van der Drift. He's already been in the pits once, and look at him. He's up to 8th position and vying for 7th. He's all over the back of Brendan Leach, who's definitely got some tyre issues, because he's sliding much more than his brother Damon in front. And Chris Van der Drift can't make his way past at the moment. It's only a matter of time, though, as they come through the double Bs. I think he'll make a lunge at the dipper and then go in pursuit of Damon. The time running out now, 6 laps to go. What a clean Grand Prix. That was one of the things that was predicted from this, was the fact that the vast amount of experience, we're used to seeing TRS with a bunch of 17-year-olds who don't have the experience and generally go hell-bent for leather and make simple mistakes. But this is a very accomplished field, and even the youngsters have risen their game. And the likes of Chris Van der Drift and Shane Van Gisbergen, who don't make too many mistakes, and certainly Brendan Leach and some of the more experienced guys don't either. Chris Van der Drift now heading down towards the first corner. Can he make a lunge at turn 1? Brendan defends nicely. That's the way to do it. Get into the middle of the circuit, down the straight, and then go to the inside and defend. Now, Chris Van der Drift will try to build and get tucked in, get a bit of a slipstream maybe, and then go for the lunge at turn 2, which he's doing. Just not quite close enough. And Brendan holds on in there. And Brendan really showing sharp signs, and if this is something to come, or a sign of things to come for Brendan Leach for the rest of the season, it's a 3-weekend season, shortened TRS series for the 16th year because of COVID. And Brendan Leach going for the championship. This is a one-off for Chris Van der Drift. Shane Van Gisbergen has now built up a 2.2 second lead. And the stewards are discussing whether to tie one arm behind his back, because he has stolen a march quite brilliantly on the rest of the field, showing his class. And now Chris Van der Drift gets his move and makes it cleanly. Classic overtake at Hampton, and Brendan knows it. But to be fair, I think Brendan knew he was slower and was just doing his best to defend as long as he could. 4 laps to go now. The gap is 2.5 between Shane Van Gisbergen and Andre Heimgartner, who will be pretty pleased with getting a second place if he can hold on to it. There's your leader in the Red Bull car. Had no doubt when asked by Tony Quinn if he wanted to do the Grand Prix. He was one of the first to sign up, and then that really did get everybody in the motorsport world of New Zealand chattering. Shane Van Gisbergen, one of the greatest drivers to come out of New Zealand in the past few years. But that's a strange statement to make in the company of Brendan Hartley, in the company of Liam Lawson, in the company of Earl Bamber, another Grand Prix winner. Will Shane Van Gisbergen finally put his name on the trophy? Last time he was in TRS was 2007. He was fighting Daniel Gaunt back then, and Gaunt's with him, still on track at the moment in 4th. Caleb Nartoa, certainly the hero of the youngsters with Matthew Payne, and the pair of them have acquitted themselves brilliantly. It couldn't have been written better than this. We knew that the cream would rise to the top, but the youngsters have done their part too, and they can hold their heads up high. Matthew Payne has been quite sensational throughout the weekend. 2 laps to go. After this, what has been a sensational Grand Prix, and one with very few incidents, to be fair, or minor incidents. And Damon Leach still in the hunt. And Chris Van der Drift drafting up there. Damon Leach up the inside of Nutter. Caleb comes back at him. side by side through Kev's corner. It's going to be interesting at Swampy as they're still side by side. Oh, this is fantastic racing. The skill to be able to do that at that speed and on these corners, very, very impressive. And Caleb Nartoa will not be denied by the more experienced Damon Leach. I don't think he'll get a membership to Highlands from Damon Leach if he keeps pulling him off. But Damon loves a fight like anyone, and he's not giving up by any means. Now, the gap is 2.8 at the front for Van Gisbergen over Heimgartner. That said, Heimgartner's just done his fastest lap, a 1:31.067, as the clock ticks down on this famous Grand Prix that goes all the way back to the 50s. And this will be a very special moment and an emotional moment for Shane Van Gisbergen. He doesn't often show his emotion. He's always very laid back, very matter of fact. But this has got to mean so much to him and his father, who have been almost an institution. Oh, big moment again, and off again at turn one, which has been a real light point for all those. And Billy Fraser, Billy, don't be a hero, goes the song, but he almost was hero to zero for a moment. And coming up on him now is Greg Murphy. And the Murph has held on, and he's going to make the 28 laps for sure. Go on, Greg. Here's another look at it. Yeah. Just a little too wide, and that's all it takes. And that has been a scurrilous corner for everybody this weekend. It's been a real touch point. Now, let's have a look at the gap. Well, it's a country mile in motor racing terms now for Shane Van Gisbergen, 2.8 seconds. And barring a major incident, and if we had an incident now, I think we'd finish under safety, as we did before in race 2. Van Gisbergen is on to make it a historic victory. Here he comes. 1 lap to go for Shane Van Gisbergen. Last lap here at the Grand Prix, the 66 running, the race of champions. And it has scripted out as planned. Tony Quinn put this together. He and his team invited the very best. Over 50 championships between the all-Kiwi field. COVID said no to motor racing and the rest of the world, but New Zealand would not be denied. They put their very best together, and here they are on display. And Shane Van Gisbergen has risen to the occasion. He's going to go 3 for 3 in this weekend, and that is pure class. Didn't like the car at first, but I'll bet he like it now. And here he comes. He's slowly calmed down into the dipper. Shane Van Gisbergen, what a moment for this man. Stars in Cars, Grand Prix Sunday has been given the greatest footnote, and the New Zealand fans know it. They've watched his career in Australia. They've not had a chance to clap him home, but now they do. And the 97 will finally take his turn of winning the Grand Prix of New Zealand. Shane Van Gisbergen is the champion of champions. What a moment. And to do it from pit lane, even better. Andre Heimgartner writes his name in the history books. And Van der Drift looks as though he did just squeak past and go into 5th place. What an effort by him too. And more importantly, please stand up and welcome home one of the greatest drivers in the history of New Zealand motorsport, and certainly one of the longest and greatest careers for any single-seater driver. He's raced all the best over the years, and this will be a very emotional man and a very humble man who takes the checkered flag to celebrate his 50th Grand Prix Give him a round of applause, folks. He is Kenny Smith. What a moment. What a great moment. Mike Lightfoot, down to you.
Roscoe, your smile on your face. That is unbelievable, mate. What a drive.
Oh, what happened? What happened today? Far out. From where we started to where we are. Oh, just unreal. Unreal. How good was that to watch?
Would you ever believe that that was going to happen at the start of this race?
Absolutely no. I thought a podium was probably possible, but man, the pace, just unreal. I don't know how he does it.
It just shows you how versatile and talented Shane Van Gisbergen is, doesn't it?
Oh no, you see the moves? Like, it's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
He'll be in shortly, mate. You're going to enjoy that moment with him.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Well, it doesn't get any better than that, does it? Wonderful, wonderful scenes here at Hampton Downs, and they couldn't have scripted it better. The marshals are happy, the teams are happy, everybody in New Zealand motorsport will be happy, the Herald will be happy, they'll have a headline tomorrow. Let's head down to Clint Brown. Donuts, anyone? Giz is buying. What a wonderful moment for New Zealand motorsport. Burning rubber. And politely the rest of the field waits for him to do his celebration.
Yeah, mate. Well, Big Cheese, your boy's doing donuts. During that race, we said, here comes the Giz. Cheeseburger.
Oh, mate, unbelievable. He's won the New Zealand Grand Prix. Hey, that's just unbelievable. And I hope he did some good donuts too.
That was legendary, wasn't it? That was folklore. The day I was there when Shane Van Gisbergen, the fire extinguisher went off, started from pit lane, won the race by 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
You must be wrapped, mate. Congratulations. Go and enjoy the moment.
Proud dad, that's for
Can
sure.
you believe it?
Nothing ever amazes me with Shane. It's fucking awesome. Excuse the language. Pretty cool.
So, a wonderful moment for Shane Van Gisbergen. Not even a broken fire extinguisher would work because he is totally on fire today. His opponents greet him, and in a moment we'll hear from him. But it's a wonderful moment and a poetic moment, really, both for Shane and his dad and for New Zealand motorsport, because as I said at the start, he's not won the Grand Prix. And a check on the results. Shane Van Gisbergen does it from the pit lane to win for the Hampton Downs New Zealand Racing Academy Red Bull team. And Andre Heimgartner is second, Matthew Payne third, Caleb Natoa in fourth place, Chris Vandergrift in fifth. Damon Leach beats his brother, and the elder holds off the younger. Brendan in seventh, Daniel Gawn in the eighth position, Billy Fraser ninth, and Greg Murphy, the mighty Murph, is 10th. A little further down, Conrad Clark, Tom Alexander had an interesting weekend. Chris Block in 13th place, Josh Bethune in 14th, Kenny Smith is in 15th place. Standing by with our winner is Mike Lightfoot.
Shane Van Gisbergen, that was unbelievable. Come on, folks, give it up for the 66th New Zealand Grand Prix winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. Who would have ever thought that at the start of that race?
Some numpty went to start the car and pushed the fire extinguisher button, so she was a bit of a panic. That was my fault, but yeah, I thought it was all over, but man, the car was awesome, perfect safety car, and then, yeah, I don't know how the front wing's still on the thing. I had to rough up a few guys, but that was unreal.
Mate, I've got to tell you, that numpty can drive.
Oh, mate, it's part of my team. You know, the prep we've put in with Pilch and Nico helping me get used to the car, and the boys all weekend, the car's been faultless at M2. So thanks to them, thanks to Red Bull, Hampton Downs and Highlands, and the Hampton and Driver Academy, and all my personal partners. It's been an awesome weekend, and yeah, I'm pretty speechless. That was, I thought it was going to be hard from 10th, let alone the pit lane.
Mate, your dad's pretty proud right now.
Oh, yeah. I'll see him somewhere. Right here.
There he is.
I'm just happy the thing did a burnout. That's cool.
Once again, folks, give it up for the 66th New Zealand Grand Prix winner, Shane van Gisbergen. Andre Heimgartner. Second overall, like you just slowly worked your way for the field, just couldn't get there for the lead.
Yeah, I got stuck behind the other guys too much, and then Shane just has that awesome pace all weekend. It's a shame that Chris's wing came off, but yeah, really happy we finally got somewhere with the setup today. So yeah, big steps forward, but a day late, so it is what it is.
What's next for you now?
So I think we're both heading back on Tuesday, so we'll go to Australia and start getting ready for supercars and all that sort of stuff.
Good luck for the supercar season, mate, but still, congratulations, bloody great effort.
Cheers, thank you.
All right, Matthew Payne. Matthew, you were fast all weekend and consistently fast, and you've ended up putting yourself third. You know, you've got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a real race out there. Gee, that was hard work, I'm just going to say that. Fell back in the middle, and I really was just infuriated with myself. I let those guys pass, and then I just sort of got on top of it and got one, and then Liam on the radio said, that's one down, let's go get some more, and just sort of flowed on from there, really.
Matthew, you're such a humble guy. You've hardly got a smile on your face. Do you realise you just got third in the New Zealand Grand Prix?
Yeah, second loser, I'd call it.
Mate, you're still young. You've got a huge career in front of you. You're going to come back and have another crack next year?
Oh, for sure. I mean, these cars are great to drive. They're awesome, and to be honest, this wouldn't really be possible without my father, and he's organised all of my sponsors, Seaman Racing, Counties Ready Mix, Patrizzi Course, Duffett, Giltrap Group, all of those guys, they're just awesome.
Good old dad, eh? Where would we be without our dads?
I know, really. You don't thank them enough.
There you go, folks. There's the podium for the 66th New Zealand Grand Prix. Give it up for first, second and third.
Wow, what a scene, and the crowd enjoying every moment of it as they should, and it's almost poetic that Shane finally gets his name into the history books. Let's take a look at the highlights then, and Nato did a great job from the start holding off the field. He bravely held off the whole chasing field, but then Daniel Gaunt finally got him at turn 2. And once Gaunt got the lead, Van der Drift was right up there too. He would stay in third place. 24, Andre Heimgartner has just got better and better as the weekend's gone on. Chris van der Drift going up to second place past Natoa. And a great result for Shane van Gisbergen, who started from the pit lane and got a little bit of luck, and that could have gone worse, but got a little bit of luck when the safety car came out after this incident when Chris van der Drift then had to go in and get a new front wing, broken front wing for him. But it was Peter Vodanovic who would cause the safety. Van der Drift was in and out very quickly.
It's just that, so really unfortunate.
Bad luck, mate.
And Damon Leach succumbed once again to Shane van Gisbergen as he continued his onslaught of the field. Leach was doing a little bit of overtaking himself, though, there on Natoa. Shane going through that time on Natoa. Gaunt would continue to lead. Shane van Gisbergen, some of these overtakes were just sublime. Proving without a doubt, Chris van der Drift and Tom Alexander again going into shenanigans. Alexander coming off worst. And look at Shane, once he got the lead, he wasn't going to be denied. A fantastic weekend. He won all 3 races at the start, the Grand Prix itself, originally from 10th. He then hit the fire extinguisher, his fault, he claims, but it didn't stop him. He was on fire. Shane van Gisbergen. And it's donuts all round for the Hampton crowd. Fitting end to what was a brilliant 66th New Zealand Grand Prix. So this crowd can go home back to Auckland or wherever they're going to and be chuckling to themselves that they've witnessed a little bit of history here at Hampton Downs. And remember, Hampton Downs is first ever Grand Prix as well. So some really fascinating accolades as we get ready for the podium. Wow, that had everything. It really did. The youngsters and the greats in what has been a celebration. A race of champions it was dubbed as, and it proved to be just that. And the champion of champions, and putting his name for the first time on the New Zealand Grand Prix trophy, Shane van Gisbergen. Let's head down to Clint Brown to do the podium for the 66 Grand Prix.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready for the podium for the 66th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix, round one of the 2021 Castrol Toyota Racing Series. Would you please welcome in third place, number 7, Matthew Payne. In second place, number 24, Andre Heimgartner. And your winner of the historic Race of Champions, and I think we've seen history today, number 97, the one and only Shane van Gisbergen. Please welcome Wayne Christie, President of Motorsport New Zealand, who will present the drivers with their cheques from Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand, and also with their special plates from Motorsport New Zealand. So the plate for young Matthew Payne and a cheque for $2,000. And for third place, round of applause for Matthew, did a great job. In second place, Andre Heimgartner, his special plate, commemorate this moment, and the cheque for $3,000. And the winner's plate and a cheque for $5,000, SVG, something very great, Shane van Gisbergen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great things about the 66th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix, an historic event for the first time at Hampton Downs. It was the 50th race for this living legend, Kenny Smith. And would you please welcome Maury Chandler, our past president of Motorsport New Zealand. He's going to present that Motorsport Cup, the Motor Cup, to Kenny. He's going to then pass it on to Shane van Gisbergen. A quick word with Kenny. You did the race, mate, the 50th Grand Prix. You made history. Well done. Congratulations.
Struggling a bit, but anyway, I set a pace and I just kept cruising around, so that got us there.
How's your shoulders?
They're a bit buggered.
Now, from what you've seen today, you won it 3 times. This is the first time for Shane van Gisbergen. How would you rate that drive?
Well, I only know that he was behind me and I gave him some room down the bottom. Everyone had gone away and he got his shit together and he came through. That was a fantastic drive to come through the field, I can tell you that now. Congratulations, Shane.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Kenny Smith. Quick word, Shane, before the champagne. How do you feel, mate, getting your name on that Motor Cup? 100 years of history, and the way you did it was just unbelievable.
It's already on this one, mate. But yeah, the Grand Prix, pretty cool to win that. But yeah, it was awesome racing all these guys, all my friends, and then also seeing Kenny out there as well, about 5 to go. Give him a little wave as I went through. It's pretty special to share the track with him and to do 50 Grand Prix. It's awesome. But yeah, just still speechless. That was awesome.
Out of COVID, Bathurst, Jack Ridge, and now the 3-peat, done the GP.
Yeah, it's perfect. You know, I've had a really good summer in New Zealand. Love this place. Wish I could stay, but I have to go back Tuesday to Aussie and yeah, get into it.
I'll tell you what, they'll be scared for the supercars over there. So once again, let's give it up for your winner, Shane van Gisbergen. And let's bring out the champagne. And that's your podium for the 66th running of the New Zealand Grand Prix here at Hampton Downs.
He's completely gone.
So then, as the crowd settles out, wonderful stuff as Shane van Gisbergen shares his wins and champagne with the rest. A speech made from the 70s from Kenny Smith to finish it all off. Absolutely superb. Father and son delighted. He's finally done it, and he's on the trophy that means so much. What a wonderful day. What a great day for New Zealand motorsport. Let's look back now as we head out of Hampton Downs on this historic day as Shane van Gisbergen is the champion of the New Zealand Grand Prix. Goodbye from all of us here.